want my daughter final wishes to come true. She wished to be buried in pink and black, and I'm gonna make that happen. I give anything to hold my daughter right now, to touch my daughter. The feeling of me knowing I can't never call my daughter, her phone, her number is stored in my phone, like, that shit hurt. That shit hurt. That shit hurt. I would never be able to hear my daughter's voice again. Never.
September 23, 2025. Toledo, Ohio. A quiet morning that began like any other, until one Facebook post shattered an entire community. By noon, that single post had already traveled miles, shared, reposted, whispered from one phone to another. By 2 p.m., confusion had turned to panic. And before sunset, the city of Toledo would learn that 23-year-old Zemiela Nucky Sylvester, a mother, daughter, sister, and friend, was gone. To her followers online, she was the bright young mom who made motherhood look easy, always smiling, always glowing, always holding it together. But to those who loved her most, that smile had started to fade. The world only saw the posts. What they didn't see were the battles behind them. Tonight, we're not just scrolling through a tragedy. We're stepping inside it. Behind the filters. Behind the captions. Into the life of a young woman who loved too deeply, worked too hard, and fell through the cracks that too many of us ignore. Because this isn't just a story about how it ended. It's about how she lived, how she fought, and what her final words were trying to tell us. You're watching City Crime Tales. If you care about real stories, not just the headlines but the hearts behind them, hit that subscribe button now. Because what you're about to hear will stay with you long after this video ends. Before the hashtags, before the heartbreak, before the headlines, there was just Zemiela Sylvester. Born on April 24, 2002 in Toledo, Ohio, Zen was the kind of child you couldn't ignore. She was loud when the world was quiet, brave when others hid, and always smiling. Her family called her Nucky, a nickname from her toddler days that stuck like a melody. It rolled off the tongue softly, lovingly, like the sound of home. To everyone who met her, Nucky had that thing you can't teach, warmth. She could walk into a room and shift the air. Teachers noticed it. Strangers felt it. Friends adored it. She had that kind of smile you couldn't fake. When Nucky laughed, the whole hallway lit up. At Bowser High, she was known for that contagious energy. The girl who'd crack a joke even during finals, who helped the quiet kids feel seen. If a friend was down, she'd slide them a note folded into a tiny heart that said, "Keep your chin up, we got this." But every light casts a shadow. And even then, the world around her was whispering lessons she didn't ask to learn. Toledo's South Side could be beautiful, but it could also be brutal. Your kids grew up fast. Dreams had to compete with rent, groceries, and the quiet worry of bills stacked on kitchen tables. For Zen, survival wasn't just a skill. It was her daily rhythm. Still, she dreamed big. A career. A family. A home filled with laughter and warmth, the kind she gave everyone else. Her mother would later say, she always wanted to love and be loved back the same way. But the world rarely moves in harmony with our hearts. And for Nucky, adulthood arrived long before she was ready to meet it. At 16, when most of her classmates were choosing prom dresses and planning senior photos, Zen was learning to calm a crying newborn. The girl with the golden laugh suddenly had to grow up, fast. No more late-night calls with best friends. No sleepovers, no teenage freedom. Just diapers, bottles, and a quiet apartment that echoed with the soft hum of exhaustion. She didn't know how she'd make it work. But she did. She always did. Each morning she'd strap her baby to her chest, grab her backpack and head to school. One arm holding her child, the other clutching notebooks filled with dreams she refused to let die. There was no blueprint. No guidebook. Just love. Fierce, unrelenting love. And that's what made her special. Even when the world told her, you can't. She whispered back, watch me. But that kind of strength, it comes at a cost. Every day she smiled, she paid a piece of herself to keep the world from seeing her cracks. People saw the glow. They didn't see the grind. They saw the strength. They didn't see the strain. By the time she was 18, she had already faced more storms than most people see in a lifetime. But Nucky, she was still that same girl with the golden laugh. Still chasing sunlight even when the clouds rolled in. And no one, not her friends, not her teachers, not even her family, could have imagined how that light would one day fade. Because even the brightest stars burn the hottest before they disappear. She was strong because she had no other choice. What happened next would turn her resilience into survival, and her smile into a mask she wore too well. Coming up, how a young mother's determination became both her salvation and her breaking point. By the time most girls were learning to drive, Zemiela Sylvester, Nucky, was learning to survive. At 16, she wasn't chasing parties or dances. She was chasing time. Time to study. Time to feed her son. Time to sleep, if she was lucky. She worked double shifts when she could, babysat when she couldn't, and somehow, still smiled through it all. People said she was strong. But strength for Nucky wasn't a choice. It was survival dressed as a smile. At 17, she found love again, or what she thought was love. Someone who promised to stay, to help, to build a family. And for a little while she believed it. Promises broke. So did trust. And just like that, she was back where she'd started. Only this time she wasn't alone. She was a mother of two. Each new day came with its own battle. And each night she tucked her sons into bed and whispered the same thing. Mommy's got you. But somewhere between the sleepless nights and silent mornings, something began to change. Nucky started turning her camera on, not just for herself but for the world. Social media became her escape, her outlet, her stage, her diary. To her followers, she was the vibrant young mom who made struggle look effortless. Hashtags boymom. Hashtag strong women. Hashtags faith over fear. But behind those bright posts, a quiet exhaustion was building. She was performing happiness, not because she wanted attention, but because she needed hope. She'd always say, "I'm okay, girl. Just tired." But her eyes, they said something else. By 22, Nucky had 3 children. 3 little hearts depending on one. Her Facebook feed filled with love notes to them. My babies are my reason. And they were. Every laugh, every photo, every sleepless night, she carried it all alone. But blessed doesn't always mean at peace. And even blessings can feel like burdens when the world stops clapping. That lie, "I'm good," became her armor. And the world believed it. Then in the summer of 2025, something in her posts began to shift. The colors got darker. The captions shorter. Less laughter. More silence. Friends scrolled past, leaving hearts and "you got this" comments. But hearts can't hug. Comments can't catch you when you fall. And while the world saw her glow, the cracks underneath were widening. No one could see it. But a storm was already forming. A storm that would begin with a whisper, and end with a message that would shake a city. Coming up, the breaking point, the moment where exhaustion met silence, and silence turned into goodbye. Every strong woman has a story behind her silence. And for Zemiela, Nucky Sylvester, silence was becoming her loudest cry. I'm tired of acting like I'm okay when I'm not. I put everyone before myself, yet I always end up hurt. I just want the old me back, the happy me. To strangers scrolling by, these posts looked like venting. But to anyone who'd been there, who'd felt that kind of tired, they were a warning. She'd post something deep, then delete it. Like she wanted to speak, but didn't want to be seen. Her reality was the same routine. Kids, bills, repeat. 2 jobs, 3 children, and a heart running on fumes. People called her strong. But no one asked what it cost her. In August 2025, that mask of strength began to crack wide open. I'm not the baby mama. I'm the custodial parent. I am the primary parent. I'm the mother. The one who doesn't get to pick and choose when to show up. I'm the big dog, if you may, on any day. It wasn't just a post. It was a declaration, a battle cry from a woman who'd been carrying everything alone. For so many single mothers, her words hit like truth. But for Nucky, they were something deeper. A sign of exhaustion masquerading as empowerment. And then came the post that no one could shake. No woman just wakes up and decides to be distant, cold, or toxic. That wall she built came from somewhere. From betrayal. From being lied to, disrespected, and let down too many times. It was honesty wrapped in heartbreak. And it was the last time many of her followers would see her online. To some, her silence looked like healing. But silence isn't always peace. Sometimes, it's collapse. She stopped calling for a while. Said she was tired. But she always sounded tired, so we thought she just needed rest. She was 23, young, beautiful, full of life on the surface. But inside, her spirit was running on empty. There's a kind of tired that no amount of sleep can fix. And Nucky had been living in that kind of tired for years. Her mother would later say she sensed something. A quietness in her daughter's voice. A pause between her words that didn't used to be there. And in that silence, the story turned. Because the next time her name would appear on Facebook, it wouldn't be in a live video. It wouldn't be a selfie or a quote about strength. It would be a message, short, haunting, and final. My favorite colors are pink and black. She typed those words at dawn. By afternoon, the post would break the internet in half. But before we get to that moment, we have to understand the hours that led to it. The quiet decisions, the unseen pain, and the morning that changed everything. Tuesday, September 23, 2025. A normal morning on a street just like any other. But somewhere in a small apartment on Toledo's west side, a young mother was making her last decisions. No one knows exactly what time she woke up. Only that she was alone. And that her phone, the same phone she used to tell the world her story, was already in her hand. My favorite colors are pink and black. I want my sons in all pink. Real men wear pink and they will be real men. I don't know where I am, but I know I was tired. I love everybody that loved me. I made it to 23 with 3 kids. If this touched Facebook, I'm gone. At 6:17 a.m., that message appeared on Facebook. By 6:18 it had 1 reaction. By 7 o'clock, it had 100. By 9 o'clock, it had spread across Toledo. At first, no one wanted to believe it. She's probably just venting, someone said. She's strong. She'll be fine. But strength doesn't always answer the door. Did you see Nucky's post? Go check on her right now. That morning, a mother's intuition became her greatest fear. By the time she arrived, the world had already changed. What happened next? No parent should ever have to see. By mid-morning, word began to spread. First to family, then to friends, then to everyone. Her mother went on live and said,
Man, that's not gonna work. It's not, because he's gonna get curious. He's gonna be like, damn, I've been with her for so long, I want to go try something new. Then that's the cheating involved, her feelings getting hurt, or she cheating on him, because I ain't gonna blame it all on the man. It's vice versa, you feel me? Especially when you're young and you're trying to build a family and create a relationship at a young age. And I told all my girls, I tell all my girls, don't do no relationship, man. I'm not telling you to be a no, but I'm telling you to live your life. Your life. You got all your life to when you get older, to settle down, to play that marriage shit. You got a whole life ahead of you before you even think about that. And I even tell my sons that. You got your whole life. Not unless you find that one person that you really, really want to truly be with. But at the end of the day, at a young age, I feel like you shouldn't want to settle down and do that, because eventually somebody gonna want to explore, and that means somebody heart gonna get hurt. At the end of the day, I try to be there as much as I could and tell her, she had babies.
Hey, Mom.
And there was nothing that I can tell her after that point. Because now y'all done created a family. Okay, y'all done created a family. So I can't tell you to leave this man alone. But what I can tell you is don't put up with no bullshit.
and the beginning of a grief that Toledo still hasn't.
Because at the end of the day, let me tell you something, I ain't being funny. And I promise you I ain't being funny, and I don't even know this is a part of Facebook, if this is a part of Facebook
left a warning.
regulations.
For every Nucky,
But at the end of the day,
thousands more.
we as women
Fighting unseen battles,
rule.
smiling through exhaustion.
They said the men, but no, that's a lie.
While carrying their own broken
Women
hearts.
rule because guess what? At the end of the day, you are a woman. What you got in between your legs, a man is always going to chase. So what that motherfucker won't do, another motherfucker will. Flat out.
So alone. That night.
Now the only bad part is that we don't have what we had back in the day.
Tears.
That options, that how the men had the 10 women, it's 10 women for every man. That's not like that because nowadays so different that half of people gay, half of our men is in jail, half of them dead. The pickings are slim, and
through her children.
It's slim.
Colors she loved.
I want my daughter final wishes to come true. She wished to be buried in pink and black, and I'm gonna make that happen. I give anything to hold my daughter right now, to touch my daughter. The feeling of me knowing I can't never call my daughter in her phone. Her number is stored in my phone, like that shit hurt.
She was 23, a mother of 3, a daughter, a sister, a friend. And in her final act, she left behind more than pain. She left a warning. Because for every Nucky, there are thousands more. Women fighting unseen battles, smiling through exhaustion, raising families while carrying their own broken hearts. And while the internet lit up with tributes and hashtags, one question echoed louder than all the others. How could someone so full of life feel so alone? That night, Toledo turned pink and black. Hundreds gathered with candles, flowers, and tears. They said her name, told her story, and made a promise that her children would grow up knowing who their mother was. She called me every day at 12, just to say hi. Now my phone's too quiet. Silence is the hardest sound to live with. But even in silence, her story still speaks. Through her words, through her children, through the colors she loved, pink and black. After the post, after the vigil, the world kept turning. But Toledo for a moment stopped. For one young mother, the echo of her absence filled every corner. Her children, 3 small lives carried on, unaware of the storm outside, yet forever shaped by it. Neighbors whispered her name. Friends shared memories online. Even strangers felt the loss. In the days that followed, the community tried to make sense of it. Who was Nucky Sylvester really? The girl with the golden laugh. The mother who wanted her boys to wear pink. The young woman who smiled through exhaustion, loved fiercely, and yet, she was magic. Every time she laughed, it made everything better. And now, there's just a hole. That hole's going to stay with us forever. She had dreams bigger than this town. She talked about traveling, writing, living somewhere bright and full of color. She deserved that. She deserved everything. Her story didn't end with her death. It sparked action. Parents began checking on each other's children. Teachers reached out to students who seemed lonely. Friends made sure to never let another voice go unheard. I want the world to know, she wasn't just a post. She was a mother, a daughter, a friend. And every time someone wears pink and black for her, she's still here, in some way. From tragedy came awareness. From heartbreak came connection. And from one final post, a life remembered. Nucky Sylvester may have left this world too soon, but her echo lives on, in the children she loved, in the friends who remember her golden laugh, and in every heart that learns to listen a little closer. Love fiercely, laugh loudly, live fully. Remember Nucky. And for those who scroll past, pause for a moment. Check on someone. Speak to someone. Because sometimes the smallest act can change a life. Or save one. If you haven't yet, subscribe to City Crime Tales for more stories that matter. Stories that echo long after the last post. The city moves on. But some stories linger. Some echoes refuse to fade. Nucky Sylvester may have left this world far too soon. But she left behind more than grief. She left laughter, love, and lessons we can all carry forward. Her life reminds us to reach out, to listen, to love fiercely. To notice the quiet struggles around us before it's too late. Stories like Nucky's aren't just headlines. They are mirrors. They are warnings. They are calls to action. Remember Nucky. Love fiercely. Laugh loudly. Listen closely. If this story touched you, share it with friends, with family. Let her life remind someone else to speak, to listen, to care. And if you haven't yet, subscribe to City Crime Tales and turn on the notification bell, so you never miss a story that matters. Because every life, every story, deserves to be remembered.